What's up, everyone? I'm finally uploading, and today we're going to be looking at my design process for the Honeybee Jetpack, as you can see by the title, and probably the thumbnail when I make it. And you'll see me work through just about every step, and in the future I want to make it more intricate so you guys can kind of learn from my process and maybe incorporate it in your own. So let's jump right into it. Right, so first what I'm going to do here is I'm going to load in my reference, and I will always do this if I have drawn one. And if I am making a raw idea like this Honeybee Jetpack, I will usually always make a sketch or a plan design. It helps with getting the design down perfectly or properly. Next, what I'm going to do is load in a plane using Shift+A. And when I have the plane, I'm going to shape the honeycomb look for the honeycomb cells of the jetpack, matching my drawing as much as possible. Those being the hexagonal shapes you see in the drawing. During the shaping, I do some extrusions, and then I delete the new geometry I've created, and after that I bridge the edges to fill the gap between two empty edges. I also do some beveling to make it look smoother and cleaner for aesthetic appeal. After I create and stylize this singular honeycomb, I will duplicate it and move the new ones that I made to make the rest of the cells or the general shape of the jetpack. Next, I start making the wings. And I end up speeding this footage up because it takes some time to get it right while freeforming the shape. Of course, I do go off the reference that I drew, and I do get it roughly close to the shape I drew, but there's a lot of adjustments that I make that you don't see, so I make it look good. I do the same for the bottom wing, and based on the end result, you can see that I do move it around a bit to make it look good and flow well with the jetpack. Also, at the end of freeforming the shape of the wings, I added a subdivision surface modifier to add more vertices and smoothen out the shape, and then I applied a mirror modifier and centered the origin to get the wings on both sides of the jetpack. And here, bees will always usually keep their stingers, so I'm going to put a stinger at the bottom of the honeycomb for some aesthetics. And with the stinger, that ends the rough modeling of the jetpack model, and now after this you'll see me move on to texture it. Also, as a side note, you might be wondering, what about that butterfly drawing? Because there's a butterfly drawing right beneath the honeycomb or bee jetpack. I did make it after this model, and I decided to keep it out of this video and make this video solely about the one you see. And you can see some footage that I play me making like the wing and the some of the modeling. So with my texturing, I often end up mapping image textures using the node editor. And for this one, I use a water cell styled image texture to give a liquidated feel to my texture. And then I also add a color ramp to add the yellow colors to help it look more similar to honey, like a crisp golden look. I sometimes also do my own custom textures, like with the Singer you can see here. I add a wave texture and make the lines black with a dark shade beneath it, with settings to make it look like a one-sided gradient, giving you those sharp edges, separating each part of the stinger. For the wings, I also use the same texture as the honeycombs, and I use different colors, also using a color ramp, and mapping it to make it look different or like it's its own texture. After this, the texture is essentially done. This one ended up being pretty easy compared to others to work with, because the other ones you run into issues like mapping issues or seam issues, or they're not scaling properly on the mesh, so you have to go back and recalculate the normals, which is a whole nother topic. Next, I'll bake it using the Eevee engine, and then I will save this texture as a PNG image file and then upload it as a texture to Roblox, basically just a decal. I also do some finishing touches that I think of in the meantime, like this little antenna, which will soon have a satellite dish that you can see on the model. Almost like there's a radar attached to it to detect nearby honey or something like that. I do a bit more tampering with the texture, and then I add a glass mesh, some boosters, and its respective particles. And I have essentially the finished final product, though there are some things I personally want to add more in the future. Like I want to add maybe some beam floating around inside of the mesh, where it like simulates honey flowing inside of the honeycomb cells there. Like that would be, I think that would be really cool. What you see here in the video is basically that final product on its own and on a character, and also me standing next to it to show you its scale. So I hope you guys enjoyed that about the bee honey jetpack thingy video, jetpack video, bee honeybee video, whatever you want to call it. Because that was my first Blender video, I'm pretty sure. Well, I guess the terrain one counts because I do go in there and make a height map, but this one is like my actual first Blender modeling video. So I hope you guys like that. If you have any recommendations, please feel free to leave a comment down below and recommend things you want me to make, anything you want to see in the future, any changes I need to make. Was this good? Was it clean? Was it awesome? just leave that in the comments. And also, I'd like to remind you to subscribe, like, and share the video. Definitely share the video, because that's how my channel grows the most, I think. I haven't really checked the statistics, but I think it works the best. So please do that. Share it with your friends, your family, whoever. As always, I hope to see you guys in the next one. Have a good day or a good night, depending on wherever you're watching this from and whenever, and I'll see you in the next one.